So let's take it back to, gosh, 2009. It was 2019. It was 19, August of 2019. Actually, you know, we might be pretty close to my anniversary date. I feel like it was August. Was it August 8th when I came over?
Get on. What is today?
It was
the
a Monday.
9th?
Yeah, today's the 9th. It's close. It's
Wow.
definitely close. But anyways, so at the time, I was at Keller Williams when I started in real estate, and I was on Joseph Hayes' team and was a buyer's agent. And the longer I was doing that, my sphere started to turn. And so I became an individual agent for about, I don't know, maybe about a month at Keller Williams. And then a mutual friend of Stuart and I, she was going to be meeting with him. She said, hey, I'm going to meet Stuart Collier at Collier and Associates. And I'm like, who's Collier and Associates?
No, I know.
Who's Collier and Associates? And I was like, oh, I appreciate that, but I'm not really looking to make any changes. And you know, she was like, the day she was going, she was like, hey, you should come. And so I was like, okay. And I actually was late, remember?
I remember, yeah.
I did have a seller at my office, but I showed up late,
Yep.
like pretty late
So
actually.
you don't reveal on this podcast that was all fake? Didn't have a
I
seller?
think it was like, I think it was
Totally.
30, it was at least 30
Yeah,
minutes late.
yeah. And we met over, we met over
You made a mark with that. It's been what, 5 years?
real estate life, right? Real estate life. Anyhow, we met at 8th Street Market, and I went in with no expectation of any changes in my life, but I left knowing that how could I not?
Really?
And so Stuart, and that was with a group of people that we met with, so we really didn't get to know each other too much at that time, but we met individually at a bagel shop in downtown Bentonville. And Stuart walked in with his cowboy boots on, and he was all like, hey, what's up? It was just a casual, let's get to know each other. He wanted to know about me and my family, not about my production in real estate or my success or my failures. He wanted to know me as a person. And so that was so refreshing, so exciting, and just like real. It was real because at the start of anything real estate is a person, and he saw me as a person. And so the rest is history. Here we are,
Now
5 years
running our
later.
company, and she's leading 5 leadership brokers and 235 real estate professionals.
Wow.
It's been a busy 5 years, but it's been a fun 5 years.
Well, when she came
fun 5
over,
years.
she was a salesperson. She had been on her own for a month, and in a short amount of time, she became a broker, and she became a leadership broker, signing broker, which we only have 6. And then now she's running the company. So I think when you look at it, the reason that I want to know her, the reason that I want to know you or RG is because I want to bet on people. And when you bet on the right people, production, career success, financial success, the ability to promote real change, create real change, that's all just an outcome of
Right.
betting on the right people based on her character, her values, the way she treats people. She makes business kinder, but she's still very serious about the job at hand. And so anyway, that's why I want to know those things. And Terri was a good bet. Terri was like freaking like putting a penny in at Vegas and pulling the slot machine and hitting like 10 milli. You know, it doesn't always work out like that.
You notice he said a penny and not like a quarter. Like,
Yeah.
I'll put a penny on it, not a quarter.
I'll be honest. I was, the first time I met TC, I really was like, oh, this girl's scary.
Really?
I thought,
Like scary good or
yeah,
what?
like in like a way of like, you better behave.
She's
you
a
know?
sleeper.
Yeah, and like, you better not act up around TC.
How did you know that? Most people don't know that.
I don't know.
Because she's got such an easy
I
personality.
know it's not like she was like mean. It's just like.
But
I
there's
was kinda
something
like,
about her that commands respect.
100%.
gosh.
Yeah. No, you kind of
Don't
feel
get
the
it twisted. She's a sweetheart, but she will bust that out.
Sorry, Spence.
No, she really will.
She will. she
Yeah.
will. Well, I wanted to get into a little bit of a market update. We've obviously done this already, but update and refresh kind of what's happening in the market. We always do these. We've done 6 in a row that were interest going up.
Yeah, it's good news this
Yes.
time. Because real estate is most affected by interest rates. And interest rates have stayed up because prices are up, inflation. And so we've been raising rates to slow demand, right? To decrease prices.
Right.
And so we're finally at a point where we've slowed demand in the economy. Not necessarily as much in real estate, but in the economy. People aren't hiring as much, unemployment rate's a little bit up, and then some of these big companies reported earnings that were pretty dismal this past week. And so the market dropped 1,000 points. And so everybody is doing a dance saying, all right, great. This is working. And so now the feds are going, we're about to lower rates for the first time in a long time. And so the mortgage rates are going ahead and baking in their lowering of their rates because the feds. And we're sitting at like 6.5 now, which is not bad at all.
No, and historically, that's actually
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah, it's probably
Absolutely
it's
it is.
probably
Yeah.
What's the
lower
average?
Yeah.
Can you see the average
for the last 30
Yeah.
or for the last 50 years. But anyway, great news. Great news.
Great news.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're excited about that.
We're still recording. We're good.
I hope so.
Roughly 16.
No, that ain't
That does
right.
not sound right.
No,
16
that ain't right.
in the last what?
Wait, hang on.
Dude,
I mean,
it might be.
No, it ain't no 16, cuz it's probably like
It's-
6.5 or
Okay.
6.85.
Since Freddie Mac began tracking rates in April 1971, the median 30-year mortgage rate is 7.38%.
Not
Okay,
bad.
so
we're under
we're,
the-
we're
yeah.
significantly
Yeah.
lower.
There we go.
But they've
Wait.
been so low for so long. Everybody's like,
Spoiled.
yeah.
well, yeah, and if you're in a 3, you don't want to give up to even getting a 6 or 6.5.
Is that the hard part? Is
Yeah.
the people?
It's called the lock-in effect.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think it just, it's less house that the buyers can't afford, right? So you have buyers who need a 4-bedroom, but as the interest rates ticked up on us, they could only do a 3-bedroom, right? So it as it comes down, they can afford that house that actually fits what their needs are.
Yep.
And we feel like there's a lot of pent-up demand from buyers. There's a lot of buyers that have been on the sidelines.
That's right.
Just like what T's saying, that are like, well, if it gets below 6.5, then we can get that 4-bedroom.
Yes.
Well, I'm hoping to it unlocks some inventory
Mm-hmm.
that people have been holding that 3-4%, but they finally need.
Yeah, it
Right,
should. It
right.
should. And the more time goes, the good. I mean, more and more people over the last 2.5 years have gotten loans, and those loans are, as a matter of fact, the people that have gotten those loans over the last 2.5 years are now refinancing. So we're
Right.
seeing a bunch of refinancing going on.
That's right.
They got them in at like 8 or 7.75, and they're refinancing at 6.35, which is significant. So it's good. It's
That is
good.
good.
Yep.
That's good.
It's good.
that's good.
Rates are coming
Good
down.
news.
That combined with, so the other thing we really wanted to touch on today is come back around, I think in April or May, when it kind of first got announced, we did a whole podcast dedicated to the NAR settlement,
Uh-huh.
which I'll link up here above so that people can click on it and watch the full thing.
Yeah.
And that broke down the settlement, what was happening, the legal. We went really into the weeds on it. But obviously, a lot has come out and a lot has been cleared up.
Right.
And it seems to me like it's gotten a lot less complicated than everyone made it sound like the sky was falling. So, could you kind of digest what actually is happening?
Yes, so really what it boils down to is there's 2 main changes that we've seen out of that settlement. And that is one, the buyer's agent commission cannot be advertised on the MLS system. And the second change is that you have to have a written buyer's agreement. Those are the two changes.
Okay. So not the end of real estate professionals as
Correct.
we knew it.
Yes.
Like the headlines read.
Yes.
Okay.
If anything, it's going to be good
Okay.
for the true real estate professional.
Yes.
Well, and
It brings back, it gives them their ability to be an entrepreneur.
Correct.
They're 1099 entrepreneurs. They're all small business owners,
Yeah.
you know, and so they should have more of a seat at the table for negotiating their fees. And that is essentially what this is doing. And the heart of this lawsuit was to create more negotiation from the seller on what he or she is going to pay a buyer's agent. And now the forms and the communication are geared more toward that seller negotiating that fee with that buyer's agent, and that buyer's agent negotiating that fee with that buyer
Correct.
based on their level of value. So in my mind, I'm going, this is great, because the people that deserve a lot of these real estate professionals that understand their value and that do have unique value propositions and can articulate that are going to make more sales moving forward. They're going to do a higher volume
Right.
of transactions. So the people that are most fearful are probably those that really haven't been creating the value that the market needs. As far as sellers go, the sellers, they should understand too that they have always had the ability to negotiate their fee, but now they should also understand that they can negotiate that fee in light of how attractive they want their house to be for buyer's agents bringing people to that house.
That's
Right.
correct.
So if
Yes.
a seller wants to offer X percent versus no percent, well, there just needs to be a conversation around, you know, what that does to cripple the possibility of a buyer.
public
I
side,
think it's going to be like what Stuart was saying, obviously negotiable. And I think each client, each home, each property is going to look different, right? So if you have a client that is, you know, they're buying $1 million house and there's, you know, like no contingencies, big down payment, huge non-refundable, you're going to work, you know, that client is solid and you're going to represent them in what they're wanting, right? So if as an agent you're saying, okay, I'm going to spend a lot of time with you for this, so we might be looking at a 3% commission, right? Versus sometimes we have clients that come to us and they say, hey, I've found this house online and we know it's the one we want. And you haven't done too much on the front end for them. You're just coming in and starting at that point to walk along beside them. And maybe at that, it's a 2%, right? So it can all look different. There is no,
Well, that
it
makes
needs
sense.
to look
That's what
like
it should've
this,
always
right?
been.
I agree. I
Right.
totally agree.
No, that's
Yeah.
totally good news. Well,
Sometimes people fight something just because it's changed. And we're looking at this thing and we're going, man, this is inherently a good change. And are embracing it as an opportunity for our agents to be able to bring a higher level of communication and value to the public and therefore gain market share.
some agents will make more money because
Absolutely.
Correct.
And will there be a trimming of the fat a little bit from the industry itself, you think, still? What are they saying on that? I know originally when this came out, they were like, a bunch of agents are going to leave. You think it'll be
Yeah.
as much as they were thinking? Or?
I think there will be some. I don't know that it's going to be as much as what was originally projected, but like Stuart was saying, as a realtor, you have to provide value. That is our job, right? We are there to represent them, to get them from beginning to end, and actually even a little bit before beginning, right? And afterwards, right, if you're providing that value. So those folks that, you know, you could, you know, after COVID, you could throw a dart and get a client just because the market was so crazy. Those folks might struggle a bit, right? But if you are truly, genuinely bringing value to the table for your clients, I think you'll see some more success.
Well, I like what you said about the 1099 thing, because that goes into that, which is agents have always been kind of lucky because every other 1099 in the world, the negotiating for what you're worth is there.
Mm-hmm.
Realtors were the only ones that kind of have this standard 3%. But I
Mhm.
mean, any other 1099,
Sure.
the guy mowing my lawn, we went back and forth on price.
Sure.
I mean,
Sure.
it's just
When you
how
go to
Yeah.
an attorney, you understand how their billing works, and that's negotiated.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
When you go to a doctor,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
When you go to an architect, you need work done, or an engineer.
Yeah.
So
And
you
it's
negotiate that fee based on that person. The other thing is, if you want an attorney and that attorney has a success record unparalleled to anybody else, well, they're going to charge you $800 an hour, right? Well, that attorney can do that because of the level of value. So why do we just throw all agents in a pot and go, they're all created equal? Because they're not, right?
Correct.
There's a licensure part. From a technical standpoint, they can do the job, but there's different layers and levels of value. And different agents bring certain things to the table. And so those fees, from a seller standpoint and a buyer standpoint, can now be considered based on the level of value, professionalism, maybe experience, number of deals, etc.
Correct.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah,
We live in
absolutely.
America, you know?
Yep.
It's a good thing.
No, it's
Yeah.
capitalism working.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
really is.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, kind of the last thing I wanted to touch on, we can get towards the end. We have some exciting news, obviously, of something coming up, an event that we haven't announced yet on the pod. So, do you want to go into this event?
Yes.
Okay.
He's talking about the CNA
He's
Summit.
talking about the summit.
That's what.
Okay, so the CNA Summit. Why do a CNA Summit? Okay, first of all, think about how we can be the biggest change agent possible with the resources that we have. Otherwise, what are we doing? We're trying to bring community together to create change, and the best way to do that is to share skill set, insight, and knowledge across industries to lift everybody up. And so on October 17th, we have rented out a really nice venue at Herringcrest, and we are putting on a communal event, a business event. And this business event is going to rival anything that you've been to. There's going to be energy associated. We're doing a big digital board. We're going to do some hype videos. Our agenda is phenomenal. We have an MC coming in, a young lady, and our speakers are a killer lineup. Mervin, who's incredible. He is all things economy and data with the University of Arkansas School of Business. Nelson Peacock, who's the president of NWA Council, which they are helping bring talent into this area to service, and many, many other things. Jordan Wright, buddy of mine, how he started what was voted as the #1 barbecue joint in the nation on Yelp, out of a dadgum truck. Just cooking up barbecue, bro, out of a truck. So how do you create quality that then leads to such
Now
a
he's
big
selling his
business?
sauces in like Walmart.
George's doing
yes.
all kinds of stuff. Then Ashley Knight with Harvest Group, which they're blowing up. Incredible lady. And then Graham Cobb, y'all know Graham, Paceline Industry. He started because Bentonville. He was the Chamber of Commerce CEO. Really when Bentonville started popping, and has done so much for this area. Now has Paceline, which is a consulting company to help communities thrive and business owners thrive. And we're going to do giveaways. We're going to have sponsorship opportunities. There's going to be vendor booths. It's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of energy, and a lot of value. So come as you are. It's going to be serious about business and value, but it's going to be fun. There's no dress code. Whatever it is that makes you comfortable, show up, and it really should be a good time. The
Sounds
17th.
Sounds awesome. I'm excited for it. You excited?
I'm very excited. We got a lot of work to do, but it's going to be great.
Oh,
Yeah.
it'll be good. We gotta show out, but it'll be awesome. I'm excited for a lot of the media we'll get to do and display there. It'll be really cool. Got some cool ideas coming. So, You have
I
anything
think I
else?
just got like this serious fear of like maybe I'll get bored or something, you know. So we just always got to be doing something. Maybe I got a mental issue, you know. There may be something
Stuart.
else going on.
We were going to talk to you after
Like,
this.
why are we doing a business summit? You're a real estate broker. But we are.
We are. Well, and I think it's a good way you've talked about on the podcast, activating, connecting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think our agents, you have to think about our 235 agents in all of their sphere, but specifically their clients. And those clients range from first-time home buyers to business people who are buying commercial properties, right? So that it hits for our agents to provide the event for their clients, right? To come in and to hear what is Northwest Arkansas going to look like in the next 5 years, right? Like maybe some of those clients that they have are entrepreneurs, and Jordan's story will be so inspiring, right? So it's just tying it all together, not only for the community, but for our agents, right?
Absolutely. And that's the motivation,
Yes.
is to provide agents the opportunity to invite their clients to gain value.
Yep.
It's just giving our agents an opportunity for a loyalty program and another touch point for service after the sale. When it's
Right.
like, hey, my brokerage is putting
Right.
this on, you show up, they're going to give you something you
Right.
can take with
And
you and use.
tie that back to the settlement, right? We've talked about what is the purpose of the settlement. We know the purpose, and it's like your question of who is anybody are we gonna lose agents? Well, it's about the value that agents bring to their client. And so if an agent has the client, and not only are we gonna search for a house, we're gonna find a house, but also come to this, and I'm going to help you with this part as well.
Absolutely.
Just come and listen. Maybe you take away something, maybe you don't, but this is a service I'm providing to you even after the sale.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, it goes way further. And I think you talked about like why is a residential brokerage doing this? But I mean, to me it makes a lot of sense. People underestimate the connections that residential agents have, like you were
Sure.
talking about. I mean, not every business guy uses a commercial real estate agent to do transactions.
That's correct.
Of course.
Everyone uses a residential person to buy a house, mostly at that level. So they're very connected. I mean,
Very.
I've seen people
Yes.
that I've met people through your agents that I never thought I'd meet in my life. So it's going to be fun. I'm super excited. So if they're watching this, they're invited, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
Well, cool. I think that